Hello everyone, and welcome to the Secrets to Using ChatGPT to Supercharge Your Marketing webinar. My name's Matthew Surridge. I'm the Key Account Manager for MPowered, and I will be your host today. I just want to start by covering off some housekeeping. So everyone's cameras are switched off, your microphones are muted, and this is just to try and help us keep within time today. You may have questions throughout the webinar, so please use the Q&A function to ask any questions that you have, and I'll cover them off at the end. If you are using a mobile to attend the webinar, you may not see the Q&A as an option, but fear not, at the end of the presentation, I'll provide contact details for myself and MPowered's lovely marketing team. We'll be happy to support you with any questions you may have. I do expect the runtime today to be around 30 minutes. If we do go over this and you have to go because you've got other commitments, don't worry, the session is being recorded and you'll get a copy of it so you can catch up on anything you've missed in a more convenient time. So let's make a start, and we'll just look at the agenda then for today. So what we will do is we'll briefly cover off who MPowered are, for those of you who may not know much about us. We'll then talk through ChatGPT, so who they are, what does it do. Next, we'll look at how you can use AI to help support you in your marketing activities. I'll run through a simple marketing goal and strategy as an example. The demonstration will be live using the AI. The content and responses in ChatGPT can be different every single time. So this is where we can have some fun and see what our marketing will look like, because I won't actually find out either until it's happening. So that should be quite exciting. And then what we'll do is we'll just summarize how to use the AI for different marketing activities sort of standalone. We'll provide some examples of that as well. I'll also cover off some useful hints and tips so you can make the most out of ChatGPT. It's an awesome tool. And then we'll cover off any questions. So let's work our way through this agenda. Let's start with, who are MPowered for those who don't know anything about us. So MPowered are a broker-only lender. We know that customers get the best advice if they deal with a mortgage advisor, so we only accept applications via intermediaries, and we always direct your clients back to you to manage any of their ongoing needs. We also want to drive change in the mortgage market. We want and would love the industry to adopt the latest technology to make mortgages as hassle-free as possible. Therefore, if we're encouraging the use of cutting-edge technology, and we're focused on supporting the broker community, it just made sense to us that we'd look at how you can use some of the tech tools that are out there to support you in different aspects of your role. I appreciate that many of you have to be your own CEO, manager, advisor, sales team, marketing specialist. It's an awful lot of responsibility. So what I want to do is look at how we can delegate some of that workload and actually let ChatGPT do most of the heavy lifting and supercharge your marketing. So let's move on to what is ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was created by a company called OpenAI, and it was launched November last year. Essentially, it's a natural language processing tool that's driven by AI technology. It allows you to have human-like conversations with essentially what is a chatbot, and it can help answer questions, assist you with tasks. It might be composing emails, writing articles, or you might even ask it to draft out a video script for you with the structure and formatting suggestions. Really, the options are limitless with what you can use this for. If you want to use ChatGPT, it's really easy to get access. Just search OpenAI in Google. You can register for free. And once registered and logged in, you'll get access to the tool and be on the prompt screen. So what I'll do is I'll take us through to ChatGPT and we'll have a look at what it looks like. So this is ChatGPT. On the screen, it gives you some examples of questions you could ask it. It outlines its capabilities. It also highlights some of its limitations. So a really interesting one to be aware of is its knowledge of world events after 2021 is limited. But when using this, if you wanted to get the best results, just speak to it like you would a normal person. Give it as much guidance, direction, context when you give it any question, you ask it to do any task. Because if you don't do this, its responses will seem more like an academic essay response rather than a natural human response. And, we want it to have some personality. Therefore, when you're using this, the best tip I could give you to start with is just think about your own brand. Are you formal or are you quite casual? Do you like to be humorous with your content, or are you just no nonsense, straight to the point? If you can direct it to how you want to sound, the perspective of the delivery, and characterize the target audience that you have, you'll find the results align more closely with what you would likely want them to be and reflect you and your brand. So what does that actually all mean? What I thought would be quite a fun little example is I'll work my way through a scenario. So we'll use this tool in a really practical way. So I'll just create a setting and a scene, and we'll look at what we can do from an input perspective to drive some outputs for our marketing. So yeah, let's set the scene with this. So I've been procrastinating now for a few days, and I've had a little bit of a mental block when it comes to my marketing. All I know for sure is that I want to come up with a way to drive traffic through to my website, because after all, like in this modern world, essentially my website's my shop window. And I've thought, an interesting blog, that could provide something that's tangible, useful for any potential customers to read on my website is just the ticket. That's going to get people coming to my website and having a bit of a look and really raising my profile. But I'm really busy, with all the rate changes that are going on. I'm not really sure where to start. All I know is I want to attract some new customers. And I'm thinking first time buyer, right? You don't get much more new than that. So it's time to brainstorm some ideas. So the first thing I can do here with ChatGPT is I can actually get ChatGPT to help me brainstorm some of those original ideas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it some context, some guidance as to what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to put in here in ChatGPT is I'm just going to say I'm a mortgage expert in the UK. My brand voice is friendly, conversational. I'd like to think I'm quite witty. And I want it to write me 5 unique article titles around how to save a house deposit aimed at young first-time buyers. I'm going to ask it to use English spellings. I'm going to keep an eye on this. ChatGPT is a US-based tool, so often you'll find it's using US spelling. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that in. I'm providing good prompts and direction here. So, it knows who I am. It knows the audience. It's going to give me context when it formulates that response. And I'm also giving it an understanding of the tone of my brand as well. So it aligns with how I like to come across naturally. I've also given some parameters for the content that I'm looking for. And I've asked it to give me some options. So here I've said 5. I could say 10, I could say 100, I could say 3. It's really, this part is just brainstorming inspiration for you. So we're going to drop that in. This is the part where I have no idea what it's gonna come back with. So it's just going to give us a few different titles for a blog that we can write. So I'm just going to review these. From couch surfer to homeowner. It's an interesting one. Deposit diaries. That's another one. I like the little play on words. Deposit dollars and cents. Now that's interesting. As I said before, it's a US based tool. So I might want to change that if I was going to use that one and have it deposit pounds and cents maybe. But what, looking through that, what we'll do is I quite like the sound of deposit diaries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it to draft me an outline. Like what would that blog really talk about? Because I want some help with actually getting this formulated. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick point 2 here, and I'm going to say draft me a bit of an outline of a blog. and it's going to give me some ideas of how to title it, an introduction, and it's going to set me actually a really clear path with looking at different elements of that topic and how I can break them down. And you can see this is quite prescriptive. So it's telling me to highlight the importance of things. It's asking me to explain certain things. And it's broken it all down here with some really good, clear steps. Now, if I don't like some of these, I could quite easily just say, give me a different option 2, and it would rewrite the whole thing, give me a different option 2. But actually, as it looks, I'm quite happy with this. But I'm thinking this is probably a series of blogs now, not just one. I think we've got enough here to capture people and almost take them on a journey and keep them coming back to my website for more. So I quite like what it's done here. But as I said before, I'm a pretty busy guy. So what I don't want to do is have to actually write everything out from scratch. Although it's giving me a really good structure and some good guidance, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask it to draft an introduction to the above blog for me, to actually focus on that, introduce it as a series of blogs, with each additional blog focusing on a different part that it's given me here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask it to do that. And the cool thing is it understands this is one long conversation. I don't have to keep going back talking about my tone, my target audience, because it remembers that from the start of this interaction. And you can see here it's now changed the way it's presenting information. So it's not giving me that structure anymore. It's actually delivering that to an audience. So again, I've got a bit of an introduction here. In fact, it's stolen my own word in for what I said earlier with fear not. So you know what? It's interestingly, it's kind of almost following the tone that I set up the start of this webinar with, which is quite cool. And I just like the way it's phrasing certain things and it's driving it. So get ready to embark on a savings adventure. You know, it's quite playful. It's quite fun. I find that quite engaging. So, you know, I'll have a read through. Maybe I'd want to tweak and change some of this, you know, just maybe add a little bit of my own points of view, my own personality, maybe some of my own personal experiences with this, maybe relate back to some customers I've helped in the past. But it's done the bulk of the heavy lifting here. So now I've got the introduction to the blog. You know, I need some content in this blog. And so far, it's doing such a good job that I might see if it would just write me the first part of this blog. So let's go give that a try. So write the content of the blog, the first blog in the series. Let's see what it's going to come up with. So again, it's giving me a bit of an introduction here, how I can introduce it. It's giving us the content for the blog. Again, it's moved it into pounds. It's really interesting. So again, I mentioned the English spelling at the start. So it started to put stuff into pounds form, which is quite nice. I say it's not perfect. We saw the dollars earlier, but it's just less for me to review and amend if needed. Again, I'm loving the fact it's asking people to seek professional advice. They're on my website to see this. So actually, luckily, they know where a professional is to give them some advice on this. So now I've got some ideas. In fact, I've locked in an idea for my first time buyers that I want to try and drive to my website. I've got the structure of a series of blogs. I've got my introduction to a blog. In fact, I've got my first part of the blog written. Now I could continue on and get it to write steps, blog 2 and blog 3 and blog 4, which I absolutely would. But at this point, I'm going to get it to do something slightly different now. You know, I want to get people aware of this. So what I want to do is, I don't know, first step is I'm just going to email all my customer base. They probably know people that are looking to buy their first property. And actually, some of this information around saving for a deposit could be really useful. So I'm going to do some emails, but I want some options. I don't want to just go with the first thing it tells me. So I'm actually going to ask it for 3 potential email subject titles here, because I want to generate interest in this blog. So I'm just going to throw that in. And suddenly it's giving me 3 titles for for an email, which is awesome. But again, I don't want to have to write the email myself. I'm getting far too used to getting everything done for me now. So what I'm going to do here is deposit diaries. Yeah, I like that one. So I'm going to keep it with the first example. I'm going to ask it to write a short email for me. I want to encourage people to go to my website, as I said before, to read this blog in the series, and I want it to be intriguing, almost like clickbait. I want a call to action where I'm getting people actually to follow this link and go through, find my website. So let's see what it comes up with for me. Let's throw this in here. So I've got my subject title, which is the one we picked a little bit earlier. Get a little bit formal. I might change the D at the start. Doesn't kind of fit in with how I would go about it. I'm a little bit more casual with my approach as an individual. But again, I'm really liking some of the phrasing that's coming up with here. You know, it's giving me a good overview of what's in the blog. It's letting them know it's the first step. Again, it's giving some information around here about to access the website. So I've got the content of my email there. But if I just focused on email to people that I knew, it's not really reaching out to a wider audience. I don't just want to focus on the people that I've got in my little black book. I want to get out there. Maybe I want to get onto social media. So maybe I want to generate some interest about my blog on different social media platforms. Now, I'm just going to focus on Instagram here. Let's post one in here. So I want to create a short and fun Instagram post to promote this blog we've just been working our way through. So I'm going to hit go. Now it knows I'm looking to put this on Instagram. So it's going to formulate me a suitable format for Instagram. So I've got some emojis coming in here. Again, it's quite fun with some of the word patterns that it's using. And it's even driving through some hashtags here, which is great. You know, and I could direct this not just to Instagram, it might be Facebook, it might be LinkedIn. All I need to do is slightly amend my request. So it could be create a short and fun Facebook post, or I might actually want to do the second blog in the series as a short video that I'm going to put on my website. So it's not all just text as a format. I could ask it to give me a script to discuss the second part in the series on the blog, and it will give me some pointers as to the formatting, to the narration, give me some ideas to put in some music in the background. It's really very clever with the information it can give you. And now you might want to also, as you're starting to get this blog out there, you're starting to get some traction on your website, you might want to start to just, you know, encourage some interaction and assess the impact of this. So, you know, what I might want to do is do a little questionnaire for the people that are going to read my blog, just making sure it's hitting the right tone, hitting the right notes, it's adding value for people. But again, I don't want to go to the trouble of writing questions out myself. So what I'm going to do is ask it to create a short 5-question survey to ask how helpful this blog was. And I'll throw it in there. Again, it's all part of that same thread. So it's going to refer back to anything that we've discussed. So again, it's titled it for me. It's going to reference different parts of the blog in there. And I might want some free type questions. So I could go back and ask it to rewrite the above questions, but make 2 of them free format responses. And we'll just see how it tackles that one. So again, it's keeping some in the yes, no's, 1 to 4s. But we should see some free format responses coming through in here. So we can get some actual real customer words that are coming back. So, you know, that was just one little walkthrough right from the start of brainstorming an idea, getting ChatGPT to provide the ideas and the inspiration, focusing on one of those and actually drive that into not only a blog, a series of blogs, helping it support you by marketing that through emails, via social media posts to get all that traction through to the website. So hopefully, you find that quite interesting. If I did the same process again, adding those same prompts in, it wouldn't necessarily always be the same wording. It's all live, it's all interactive. It will change as you start adding different guidance in there. And you can regenerate responses if you want something to be slightly different. Maybe you're not happy with this one on here. So let's just journey back. So that was ChatGPT. So how can we use it for our marketing generally? So that was a really good scenario that we played through, but let's talk about some things in isolation. So we talked about brainstorming ideas. So again, we can just focus on just that one part. You might want to cover the content and how you drive awareness yourself, but you could put something in like, brainstorm some content ideas for a blog post about top tips for homeowners who are remortgaging their home in 2023. Throw it in, it'll throw out a load of responses, and you could just use it for as an ideas board. It might be that you're looking for help with actually writing your service description. So you might put something in like, I'm looking for a creative way to describe your business services, and you provide mortgage and protection advice, and you want it to stand out from the competition. So you could just throw that in again as a really generic question, and it will give you some really good ideas on how to position that. Again, we looked at emails as part of that scenario that we ran through. And again, you could do that as a standalone exercise. So you could just ask it to compose a warm and engaging welcome email for any new subscribers to your website, introduce them to your brand, sharing the valuable resources to help them get started with buying their first home. So again, just really open, general information that you can get it to help you write an email. Again, we talked about social content. So again, we've got it suggesting some hashtags. As you remember on that example that we had, it built some hashtags in there, but maybe you've already got the content of your social media post done, but you just want to actually look at the different types of hashtags that you could use and just add that one element in. So again, you could just ask it to help with a specific part of that marketing task. It doesn't have to be the whole marketing task itself. Again, we looked at surveys. Again, you can dictate how many questions go into that. You might want it to be 5, 3, 10. You could ask it about specific things on the website. It really is limitless as to what you can ask it to do. But getting customer surveys written can often be a bit of a pain. I know sometimes you might get 1 or 2 questions thinking, oh, what else can I put on here? I can't ask a questionnaire or a survey with 2 questions. Get it to throw some ideas your way. You might end up doing more questions than you thought. And again, you might want it to recommend some marketing tools for you. So we've got on here, give me a recommendation of 5 social media scheduling tools available for under £30 a month. So I'll tell you what, let's journey back over to ChatGPT and let's see what that would do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start a new chat. So this is now completely separate from that original conversation I had. And what I'm going to do is just ask it to give me those 5 social media scheduling tool recommendations for under £30 a month. Just throwing that in there. Now, interestingly, it's giving those, and it's giving me some approximate pounds as well. It's got them in dollars. So it says here that the price of these tools could vary with exchange rates. Remember, at the very start, I talked about the limited up-to-date world events part of this. So if we journey back to this new chat once again, it says it's got limited knowledge of world and events after 2021. So you probably just want to double check that exchange rate just to make sure it's accurate and up to date as of today. All right, where should we move to next? So we're now on to the hints and tips part. So we've covered a scenario of using ChatGPT to look at a complete marketing strategy and goal. We've looked at each individual thing in isolation. So what are the top tips for using ChatGPT? So remember, ChatGPT, it's a tool. It's not a replacement for yourself. Try and avoid any unclear or confusing prompts. Add context to your request like you would when you're just talking to a person. Edit and revise is required. It's a US-based system, as I said. There'll be lots of things like American spellings, American euphemisms. So just check, make sure it's consistent, it's relevant for what you're trying to achieve. And always look to avoid duplicate content, right? This is a free tool. It can be accessed by anybody. Other people might ask for similar things to you. So some of the responses could seem a little familiar. So by adding your own comments, your own personal stories, some of your own points of view, it just makes that content truly unique and engaging. So I can't really emphasize that enough. It goes back to, it's a tool, it's not a replacement. And, you know, use other analytical tools to monitor the content's performance. You know, make sure it's delivering the value that you're looking for and tweak it as necessary. Yeah, it's not the only tool out there. So there are other tools that you can try. So here's just a flavor of some of the other things that are out there. So we've got Copy AI. So Copy AI is an AI writing tool. It uses machine learning. It generates various types of content, such as blog headlines, emails, social media content, and web copy. It's designed to help users with the copywriting process. And it really is just a great tool for beginners to get familiar with generative AI. You've also got Writer. So Writer is an AI tool. It can generate many different types of content. So it can be used for website copywriting, you know, creating marketing and sales copy. You can write a full blog post for you, or just about any other writing job that you're able to think of. And the last one we've got on the screen there is Grammarly. So Grammarly is an app or extension for your browser. It checks your grammar, your spelling. I certainly would need that. It looks for plagiarism. It's in a real-time state in a number of different platforms. So Microsoft Word, WordPress, Facebook, it just runs in the background, checking these different things. Now, if you're thinking, trying to remember all those prompts, the directions, give an idea of context parameters, is just all a little bit confusing and it's a bit overwhelming. So what's quite exciting is MPowered currently developing a tool for our website just to try and make this easier. So what we're looking to do is just provide a little tool where you can use drop downs and options and keywords. So actually in a few little selections and clicks, you could probably generate all this content we just worked our way through. So that's in development and hopefully we'll have that go into beta testing soon. Whilst I'm talking about beta testing, ChatGPT is a tool that we've actually integrated into Criteria GPT. So it's a tool that MPowered have created. It's currently gone into beta now, which essentially means that we're using that AI to help answer criteria questions. So what I'll do is I'll very quickly show you how that works for anyone interested in joining the beta. And anybody that's on our beta program, so if you join this, when we release the marketing beta version, you'll get early access to the marketing one as well. So if I quickly jump on our website, I'll show you exactly how it would work. So just going to open this little chat bot down here on our website. I'm going to let it know that I'm a broker, and it's going to let me know that I can trial Criteria GPT because I'm registered for it. So I'm going to use that as an option. And what it means, I can just start throwing criteria questions over at it, and it can help me answer these. So let's just try a couple of ones. So my customer is a French national with pre-settled status. Is that okay? Again, just talking to it like it's a person. It's going to have a look at that. And what it'll do is it'll generate a response for me. Yep, great, awesome. We can do those. And again, it will give you a link to the part on our website that will just give you those extra details around it. I'm going to throw another one in. So let's have a look. My customer who is remortgaging has a property with a flat roof over 50%. This okay. Let's have a little look what it comes back with. So it's saying we accept property with a flat roof over 50%. Now this is a beta, and actually what it's pulling here is actually our residential converted flats, which is slightly different. So it's not 100% accurate yet. That's why it's a beta. So when you follow that through, you'd notice it's not on there, and that allows you to provide feedback, because actually we'll only do it up to 50% as a flat roof. So here I'll just provide some feedback. So we want to run through a full beta, make sure this is 100% accurate before we release this on the wider marketing. So, you know, if you'd be happy to support us with that, get involved. We'd love to have you as part of it. And again, we've got the little QR code here. Scan that. That would give you the link through to the registration page, or just drop me an email and I'll help you get sorted with access to it. Right, let's move on to the last part, which is just any questions. So we've had a few come through, so I'll read those in a moment. But if you are on mobile and you're struggling with the Q&A, or you just think of something a little bit later, we've got my contact details on the screen, so you can email me directly. Or if you really wanted to deal with the brains of this outfit and bypass me and just speak to our awesome marketing team, that's their email address. You can just drop them an email. They'll be more than happy to help. So let's have a little look through the questions. It says, regards English, do you need to specify UK English versus just English? So yes, if you specify that you want UK English spellings, ChatGPT should be able to interpret this to ensure it uses UK spellings rather than the US spellings. What's the next question? Is there a chance it will generate the same article twice, and does Google notice it's been written by AI? So the answer is no. ChatGPT does not give the exact same answer and wording to everybody. So if I put in those exact same prompts, as I said at the start of this, I had no idea what content was going to be written, even though I was using almost cut and paste questions to go in, just so you didn't have to see my terrible typing skills. But every time I do that, the answers are unique and are different. And that's why I put in the wording unique in there as well. And Google is getting smarter about AI written content. And again, this is why it's really important to check what's been generated and edit it to suit your own brand. So it's great to lift and shift, but I'm a massive advocate of just making it personalized, even if it's just one short anecdote or story for your own personal experience, or just something that's your own personal view, pop it in there. So what's next? Do you have a recommendation for AI service that can generate the visuals to go along with the written content? Ideally a plugin standalone if needed. Okay, so there's lots of different graphic design tools. We've got Canva. They've started to roll out an AI in their systems, and that helps generate visuals. So it may be worth having a Google at these types of solutions and just pop it in. And again, they'll give you some other suggestions. Let's have a look. We've got another one. Is worth getting plus option. So I think what we're saying is you might have seen at the very start that there was a different version of ChatGPT you could use. So at the moment, ChatGPT is free because it's part of its research preview. So you could probably get what you need from the free version. I was using the free version there, and to be honest, I've been absolutely blown away with how it works and the content that it generates. But you know, everyone needs to make a living, so I would expect that ChatGPT will have a cost associated in the future. So you know, why not fill your boots and get using it now, and just make sure it's actually providing value if they do start to monetize it in future. I think that's all the questions that we've had. If you do think of anything else past today, as I say, you've got those two contact details on the screen. If you've not managed to write them down and you just want to be able to find me on our website, you can literally just go to BDM Finder and all my contact details are listed in there as well. So you should be able to find me nice and easy. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you for joining me today. Hope it's been some value for you. Best of luck using ChatGPT to supercharge your marketing. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.